So till now we have done till Vishwarupa, we have completed till Vishwarupa. We started with the doubts of Arjuna, the 5 doubts of compassion, no enjoyment, sinful reactions, destruction of family, dynasty, and indecision. And the answers to it directly given by Krishna. In the second chapter, all the answers were there. And we started then with the Karma Yoga part. The first section wholly belongs to the Karma Yoga part, in which some Buddhi Yoga, which is Bhakti Yoga, we saw the Buddhi Yoga and some Gyan Yoga. That without we also saw that what is Nishkam Karma Yoga. At the end of the sixth chapter, we came to know Yogi Namapi Sarvesham Advatanantaratmana Shraddhavan Bhajito Yomam Samayukto Tamomata. That who is the best yogi? That who is always abides in Krishna and who always keeps in always keeps in heart Krishna, and Krishna also keeps in. So it is the opinion of the Krishna that who always abides with Krishna and always thinks of Krishna is the best yogi. So he declares that Bhakti Yoga is the best part of the yoga. Whatever karma, whatever nishkam karma is one is doing, the Bhakti Yoga has to be done. That is the best yoga. Then we came to the Bhakti Yoga chapters from the chapter 7 to 11. This is the largest chapter of the chapter 12, which is seriously talking about what is devotional service, what Krishna is asking, what is dear to Krishna, what by what Krishna can be pleased. Because till now he has spoken about his glories, the glories, opulences in the chapter 7. We talked in the chapter 7. Then in the 8th chapter, the 8 questions were answered by Krishna regarding what is Adi Yagna, Adi Bhuta, and where is Paramatma, where does Paramatma resides, who is Paramatma, what is what is Jiva, what is soul, then this kind of what is Prakriti. All these questions were asked by Arjuna. The answers were given by Krishna. And then in the 9th chapter, we learned of the Raj Vidya Rajapiyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratikshavagamam Dharmam. So we learned about uh, the what is Raj Vidya, Raj Vidya. So Sukam Kartum Ambiman. This is the blissful knowledge. So Raj Vidya is the king of knowledge. The secret of the secret is, it is the purest of the purest. It is done with faith, and since it is the direct perception of the self relation can be done through this yoga, this vidya. That's why it is the it is the only religion. It is the religion which has to be followed, because self relation can be done, self perception can be done. So it is the religion. It is the dharma one has to establish. From there, we came to know that this can be done very blissfully. So Rajavidya Rajavayam Pavitram Idamuttam. So we learned in the 9th chapter. Then we came to the opulences, how Krishna can be seen, as energies can be seen in the world. Right? Because in the 10th chapter, then Arjuna declares that he is Param Dhama, Param Brahma. He is the Paramatma, he is the Param Brahma, right? He is the Param God, right? He is the Param Dham. And after him, nothing has to bring. He is absolute. He is inconceivable. Chintya. So we learned about how his energies are there in the world, in the material world. How his energies, how he says that the prakash, the tap that is coming from the sun is basically Krishna. It is the Krishna's eye, the sun and the eye, the sun and the moon are the eyes of the Krishna only. So how the taste of the water and Ucha Shreva, then Indra, then he basically signifies that he says that see my opulences, very which are very just the indication of the opulences. Krishna says these are just the indication of the opulences, and then he describes in the vajra, of the weapons he is the vajra, of the demigods he is the Indra. So various examples he gives. So what is whichever is significant thing in this world you can see, then you can identify as Krishna, so that you can see. But in order to know Krishna, that in the future, that in order to set the benchmark and for the common people to know, then the Vishwarupa is asked by Arjuna. He requests, because he is a devotee, he is a friend, and he doesn't envy the Lord. That's why the Vishwarupa was asked by Krishna, and was by Arjuna, and Krishna basically shows his Vishwarupa in order to set the benchmark for in the future gods. Someone in the future will tell that okay, I am the God, I am the walking God, I am the living God. No, come to me. He will say, because various things can be various material things, various these are there, you know but one can ask for the Vishwarupa, and in some form of the Vishwarupa, one can ask. For them, basically Krishna shows the Vishwarupa, and for the common people to believe that yes, Krishna is there. Yeah? It is a temporary form. It is not a permanent form of Vishwarupa, but yes, he was he was wonderstruck with the Vishwarupa form, and he was feared because it was huge. Because devotees are not after the opulences, they are not after the, because they just want to listen to the glories of the Lord, right? They are just in the love with the Lord, right? In the Goloka Vrindavan, the Gopas are there, the Gopis are there. They don't have any influence of the, of the energies of the Lord. They are just in love with them. They are just as a servant to the Lord. They are always in the service to the Lord. So they are very blissful. They are in a blissful state, right? Because that is Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti is no desire. Because no desire is there, that's why they are there. Because since we have some desire, some desires are there, that's why we are here. And there is the only difference, because we don't love Krishna, we don't want the service of the Krishna, and we envy Krishna basically. It is ours to contemplate, think about it, that how much we envy Krishna, or how much we love Krishna, or we don't love Krishna. How much service are we asking for the Krishna? That is for us to contemplate and reach at the stage of Ananya Bhakti. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. We'll now proceed. Synopsis of the chapter. And the chapter 11, in the chapter 11, the Vishwarupa form, the Lord Krishna was shown. This universal form, the Arjuna's attachment to personal two-handed form. He wanted the three-banded form of the two-handed form and the three-banded form. He wants to do that. So, he requests, since he was very fearful, very wondrous, and static also, fear out of seeing that so huge form. It had no beginning, no middle, no end. So it's a huge form. But Arjuna requested that, so please come the 200 form, because devotee wants that only form. Arjuna, being attached to the 200 form, wants to clarify his position. After hearing and seeing Lord's inestimable and personal opulences, Arjuna again wants to hear about devotional service. Now, since now he has listened to the glories of the Lord, right? He know a lot of glories of the Lord. But what about the devotional service, right? He wants to hear about the devotional service, that how can he help, because now he is very clear. All the illusions, he has said in the 10th chapter that all my illusions and doubts is all gone, Krishna. He has said that my all the delusions, whatever delusion I was in, it has all gone. But now, now all the opulence is also shown. Now the Vishwarupa is also shown. But now Arjuna wants, since he is the Vishwarupa, since he is the Paramatma, since he is the Param Dhama, he is the Param Brahma, now he wants to listen to the devotional service, that how can one do devotional service for us common people, and for him also, right? Because he is already doing the devotion. He will be doing the devotional service. Nimitta Matram. He will be the Nimitta Matram to it. But now he wants to clarify his position. To clarify his position as a devotee who works for Krishna, as opposed to a Jnani who reha. So what is recommended? Krishna is always recommended. Inaction is not recommended. Rather, he is recommended to do work. Yuddhasya. No, always he Mam Anusmara Yuddhas. So he is always saying that, remembering me, you fight. Remembering me, you fight. Always he is saying. So Jnani, he doesn't find the yogis or that good, but he asks to basically, do the work, do the devotional service. Right? Clarify his position. A second reason for that is to clarify his position as being attached to personal form of Krishna. Because devotional service doing is attached to the personal form also, as superior to the universal form or the unmanifested Brahman. Because their doubt will come, right? That I am not attached to the Brahman effulgence. I am not attached to the universal form, which is the God Himself, right? The God Himself. I am just attached to the personal form. So he is clarifying his position that whatever I am doing is correct or not correct, right? So he is clarifying that position, that whatever his position is, it is correct that he will be doing the karma. Is it correct, or the thinking and the thinking out of it, that the Brahman effulgence, unmanifested Brahman and the universal form, he is not attached to that. Rather, he is attached to the Krishna. Right? So clarifying the position, right? So we will describe this in three parts. We will divide it in the three parts. First seven shloka basically describes about the how glorious is the bhakti over impersonalism, and the second part is the progressive stages of devotion from the highest to the lowest. Right? He asks for the devotional service. So now Krishna will tell that what kind of devotional service one can do. Right? And from 13 to 20, the qualities that endear one to Krishna. Now Krishna will tell what pleases him. Right? One is the devotional service, that what how can one reach him, these shlokas. And the 13 to 20 shloka will be what endears Krishna. Right? And Arjuna Vacha. Evam satata yukta ye bhakta swam paryupashate chapi aksharam bhaktam tesham ke yoga vittama. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Right? So he has asked the right question, that who is most perfect, right? Which one to follow, right? Because one is doing devotional service, okay, one is doing, but what to remember, right? What to remember is, although Krishna is again and again saying ma manusmara, he is saying man mana bhava mad bhakto, he said, mom Vivishishyatam say mom, always he is saying mom, right? Me only, but still he is just clarifying, right? He's just clarifying. So Arjuna question, which is more perfect, engage in devotional service or worshipper or the person, right? We need to see that how the Mayavadis think that the Mayavadis who is thinking of the impersonalism class, so we need to clarify our doubt also. Two classes of translation are there. One is personalist, engages himself with all energy in the service of the Supreme One, right? We have seen that sannyasi is also there in the ISKCON, where they are doing the deity worships and all, all the things, activities they are doing. One from the outside world will think he is a sannyasi, but he is he is taking prasadam also. Then all the things he is doing, he is worshipping the Lord. All the things he are doing, right? But he will not see that he is detached. Right? One is detached with that. That is the main thing, right? Using the ISKCON principle is utility, right? The principle of utility is there. Whatever thing is with you, you use it for the Lord. Dovetail it for the Lord. That is ISKCON's principle, right? Personalist basically engages with all energy, right? One is going for shopping, one is going for the deity worship shopping. One is eating something, one has offered that to the Lord, that only he eats. That you can do. Impersonalists are engaging in meditation or impersonal Brahman. We have seen in the Dhyan Yoga also, the Ashtanga Yoga part. Personal, basically meditation on impersonal. There is Jyoti is there, the manifest. This happens, if you go to the Vipassana center and all, the healing, they do the healing also, they do the healing process also. One can medically be healed, one can materially, the body can be healed just by doing the vipassana also. So it is not that the healing process, the peace of mind is not, it is there, but we are after what, the Krishna prema we are after. So conclusion also of the every chapters of Bhagavad Gita tells that in the second chapter, living entity is spiritual spark, absolute truth is spiritual truth. The individuality in the second chapter, the 11th sloka, we have learned that individuality is always there. The Krishna says, I was before, now, and not tomorrow also. Secondly, what we learned, that we are not the body, we are the soul. Right? The thing spoken by the atheist is totally neglected there, that okay, cancelled there, that we are, the incarnation is not there, but because body, we are not the body, we are the soul. First thing we get there. Second thing, one, that individuality is never lost. Right? Living entity is a spiritual spark, right? For an example, there is a fire, the spark in it, we are the part and parcel of that spark. Right? So we are just the part and part. Absolute truth is spiritual whole. Right? The absolute truth can be realized in three parts: the soul, the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the Bhagavan. It's similar to the example of the sunlight. Right? Sunlight is, there is the sunlight, then there is the surface of the sun, and there is the sun itself. So all the three are absolute. The sixth chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenandaratmanam Shraddhavan Bhajite Yomam Sam Yukta Tamomoga. His opinion is one who always abides in Krishna, is always faith in Krishna, is always keeps himself in Krishna, always Shraddhavan Bhajite Yomam. With devotion he worships Krishna. He is the best yogi. Whatever he is doing, he is the best yogi. In the seventh chapter also, we learned about the opulences of the absolute, and the living entity is the part and parcel of the whole. Right? We are the part and parcel of the whole. Recommends one to transfer his full attention to the whole. Right? He's recommending that we are just a part of our constitutional position is as a servant, as a part and parcel of the Lord. If we are with the fundamental position of us, then then the Yog Maya, then the Krishna takes care. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyam. Because he reciprocates. whatever part we surrender to Krishna, he reciprocates equally, right? Yeah. There is no doubt in that. Again and again, he confirms that whatever is there, he will preserve, and whatever one lacks, he will give it. And the 8th chapter, anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of the Antakali Chamameva, Sparan Muktva Kalemaram, Yaprayati Samadbhavan, Jati asti sat atra samshaya. Of this, there is no doubt that one who thinks of me alone, right? He is not saying anywhere that you think of any other devta, right? He is saying of me alone, of me alone. The individuality has established in the second part that he is individual, he exists before, he exists now, he exists in the future also. In the second chapter also, only he has established that. In the 8th chapter, he tells Antakali chamamiva sparan muktva kali mamiva. So he is saying only me, right? He is not saying as someone other, right? Something else, not saying the Brahman. He's already said that only things of Krishna at the time of that at once supposed to be prescribed to the abode of Krishna. Of this, there is no doubt, right? He is assuring us, right? So what is the best way to associate with Krishna is through devotional service, right? Ananya Bhakti. You have not Ananya Bhakti. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mayyavesh mano ye mam nitya yukta upasate Shraddhaya Pariyoktitasthame yuktama mataha. Hare Krishna translation even.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be most perfect. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna is now saying that whose mind, three things he is saying. Whose mind is fixed on a personal form, right? He's saying Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam, right? He is saying my personal Mano Ye Mam, right? He is not saying Tvam, he is not saying some Dev, he is not saying some Brahman, right? He could have said that some Brahman he could have said. If the impersonalists were right, then the Brahman Shabda could have come that you fix your mind on the Brahman, this could have he could have said. But he is saying Mayaveshya Manoye Ma. He himself is saying Ma. His mind is fixed on my personal form. Always engaged in worshipping me. Second part. So we have to fix our mind in Krishna, right? There is the relationship sambandha, then there is avideya, then there is the pariyojana, right? The pariyojana is the Krishna. The goal is the Krishna himself. So he whose mind is fixed on a personal form, always engaged in worshipping me, right? Always nitya yukta upasate, always nitya service with great and transcendental faith, right? The faith is necessary. The Shraddha is very necessary because with the Shraddha, the Bhajan Kriya will come, the Sadhu Sangha will come, then Bhajan Kriya will come, then Nishtha will come, right? The 9 steps to the Krishna Prema, the ladder starts itself with the Shraddha, right? The Shraddha should be there. So mind should be fixed on personal form, always engaged in worshipping me. That is Abhideya, right? That is Abhideya. Our Sambandha is we are part and parcel of the Lord. Abhideya is always engaged. We are doing devotion service, and our Prayojana is the personal form of the Lord. With great faith is considered to be most perfect, right? So he has declared that who is most perfect. The question was asked. You can see that how Arjuna asked, and the next is the answer only. Then he details about it, right? In every chapter, you see that the question he asked, the next is the answer. First, he gives the answer directly that this is my answer, and then he elaborate on it, right? Why most perfect? Because three things. Fix their mind on personal form, worship me with great devotion again and again. Always engage in worshiping. Again and again, he's saying me. Right? Action in Krishna conscious activity are not material because everything is done for Krishna. Right? So our activities, whatever we are doing, as related to the Krishna, is it material? No. It's all transcendental. It's through the mercy of the Lord. Right? It's through the mercy of the Lord. By our will, by our attitude, by willpower, we can do nothing. Right? So pure devotee is in full samadhi because of his constant engagement. Example, chants, hears, cooks, shops, washes, temple, or dishes, etc. Do not waste single minute, right? So whoever a pure devotee is like always constant, not a fraction of second is goes by when he is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, right? Always chanting or hearing or cooking for the Lord or shopping for the Lord or washing temple or dishes, etc. Whatever one can do. Any example you can do? You can give that, in this world that we are living, that who is a pure devotee, who is always engaged, who is in samadhi. Examples till now we have discussed.
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada, Haribol Mataji, not a single fraction of second he has given away to for anything else, right? Any other examples, Mataji?
From the present, those who are alive,
Any you know Mataji? Not
all the
alive.
bhaktas, Prabhuji, all the bhaktas who are
Examples, Mataji,
mentioned,
any famous bhaktas, Mataji?
uh, Prithu Maharaj and
Haribol.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj,
Maharaj.
Haribol Mataji. Always Vishnu Saranam, Vishnu Saranam. He only gave the 9 devotional service practice, right? He only gave Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Dasyam, Pada Sevanam, right? Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, right? Again, he only gave Archanam and Mandaram, right? He has only given the 9 devotional in the seventh canto, right? Prahlad Maharaj. What? Who else, Mataji?
Lakshmi ji, Hanuman ji,
Hanuman ji. Haribol Mataji.
and
Hanuman ji is always thinking of the Lord. He is always saying Ram, Ram, Ram. Always chanting the glories of the Lord. Right? Always in busy in not a fraction of second is going, by not chanting the
Sudama.
name.
Swamiji, Sudama. Sudama.
Sudama, Sudama. Haribol Mataji. So these are the examples. Yeah? You all know that great example. The 12.4. ये तो अक्षरम अनिर्देश्यम अव्यक्तम पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कुतस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवं तनियमेन्द्रिय ग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति माम् एव सर्वभूताहिते रतः. Translation, no?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. By practicing yoga, people try to stop the mind from thinking what it is impossible. The goal of life is not to become unconscious, but to become super conscious. Hare Krishna.
Translation. This also, Mataji, you continue, Mataji, this one.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lie beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed like everyone, such person engage in welfare of all, at last achievement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So just by practicing yoga, people try to stop the mind from thinking, right? Prabhupada is saying, that just by practicing yoga, we are just trying to stop the mind, right? But mind, the desires can, because the desires are there, then the mind will be there. Because mind controlling is very difficult, right? In this age of Kali Yuga, that is more difficult, right? So the goal is not to become unconscious, because you are stopping the mind. The impersonalist, basically, Krishna is elaborating on the impersonalist, right? So they are basically starting, trying to stop the activities of the mind, right? Become some observer, right? Something like that. But actually what needs to be done, we need to associate with more higher consciousness, right? The higher conscious, much more higher consciousness, which is Krishna himself, right? We are if Lord tells that we are, that we are the marginal energy of the Lord. We are the marginal energy just because we have come into the contact with the inferior energy. That's why we have become attached to the inferior. If we come in contact with the spiritual energy, because we are the spiritual beings, what will happen? We will become elevated. Similar to the example, example of, if you are playing some badminton, the opposite party is a good player, then your strength to that game increases. If your opposite party is not a opposite player, basically is not a good player, then what will happen? Your quality will also decrease. Similar to the game also. The energy which we are associating should be the higher energy, the spiritual energy. So goal of the life is not to become unconscious, right? It is not to become empty your mind, rather to become super conscious that there is the Lord. Right? So who are worshipping, those who worship the full worship, the unmanifested, those who worship the unmanifested, Krishna is saying that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, all pervading and fixed, immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such person gain welfare of all, at last achievement. They also reach to me. He is saying, but some time it takes. Sometimes at last. they are also reaching there, right? At last he is reaching. So he is saying all pervading. Why he is saying all pervading? What he has said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. He is all pervading. He is inconceivable. He is achintya. He is fixed. He is immovable. Impersonal conception, right? That also he is accepting, right? This is also absolute truth, because three absolute truths we can realize in self, the Brahman, the Paramatma, and the Bhagwan, right? So those who worship the unmarried will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender, right? So if basically what will happen in the Ashtanga Yoga part when you reach the Samadhi stage, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Samadhi, in the Samadhi, then one will come to know that basically there is God, there is the Bhagwan, right? So one has reached Samadhi, one started with the goal of Paramatma Brahman effulgence, but ultimately one will came to know that okay, there is Bhagwan, there is supreme personality God is there. Then he will start the bhakti. Ultimately, one has to start the devotion, right? So what are the impersonal conception? It is unmanifested, right? It is not many. It is the Brahman effulgence, right? It is beyond sense perception. Currently, you can go to the Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha is, it is equivalent to the Lord. It is equivalent to the Lord. It is the Satchidananda Swarupa. It is the equivalent to the Lord itself. Right? So we go and do the worship on the strength of Hare Krishna Mahamudra. Right? Beyond sense perception, it is all pervading. How? Aham sarvesha prabhava matta sarvam parvartati. He is everywhere. It's all pervading. It is inconceivable. It is achintya. Similar to the Krishna also. It is also inconceivable, right? But at least we can see in the form that there are two hands, there are two legs, and you can have some relationship where you have some rus with the Lord, right? Some rus can be there, right? The shant ras, the dasya ras, the sakhya ras, the madhurya ras, right? The one can have some rasa with the Lord, vasalya ras, right? It is unchanging, it is fixed. The Brahman effulgence outside of the Goloka Vrindavan we have seen, it is all fixed, right? One who goes there, just the fourfold miseries one will be left, it will leave. One will not be having the fourfold misery, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, that uh, uh, birth, death, old age, and disease. But one needs to not be engaged in the devotional service. Then again, he will come back to this point, this Bhuloka, this Bhuvarloka. One will again come again back to this point. So that is basically spiritual society. Srila Prabhupada tells that this is basically spiritual society, because one has reached, with very huge effort done the Ashtanga yoga and all things one has done, and then he has reached a stage, where one can fall down from that if one doesn't elevate, right? Because no devotional service is there. So how to worship the unmanifested? By controlling various senses, right? The Shang yogi, what he does, he leaves, yam, niyam, asana, pranayam. Then the pratyahara stage, he leaves everything. He leaves everything and he goes to the forest, right? By being equally disposed to everyone, right? By being he sees Paramatma in everyone. Samadarshana Pandita. By engaging in welfare of all, by engaging in welfare of all, by difficult for any common man, much penance involved before the ultimate passion for full surrender takes place. Right? Because the full surrender will take time. But in the Bhakti Yoga, you have the rasa with the Lord also, and it is blissful. It is blissful. Tu sukam kartum abhyay. It is blissful, right? The Bhakti Yoga is basically grateful. Because in the Kali Yuga, we cannot do this thing, right? It is practically not possible. It is practically not possible. Srila Prabhupada also says that it is practically not possible to, everyone to leave the everything and, go into the forest and do all. It is practically not possible. That's why he always favored, Grahastha, he favored the Grahasthas. क्लेशोदिकातरस तेषाम् अव्यक्तशक्त चेतसाम् अव्यक्त हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवाधिरवाप्यते.
Hare Krishna. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna.
Right. So whose mind are basically attached. Again, the impersonalist is being, talked about impersonalist, that unmanifest impersonal feature, the supreme, the feature of the supreme. It is whose feature? It is the impersonal feature of the supreme. Avyakta Shakta Chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. So where he will go dukkham. He is saying the advancement is very troublesome. right? How the advancement is going for the Ashtang Yogi or for the impersonal ones, troublesome. No rasa is there, only the light is there. You anyone of you have gone to the Vipassana or some chakra studies? Attendance, any courses like that? Any experience to share on this? Because these are also the things I also used to do in the starting. Also, I used to do some Kriya Yoga and all. But it is very difficult. It is the principles, the regulative principles are very 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 tough to follow. Very troublesome it is there. Very troublesome it is there. But as soon as you come to the Bhakti Yoga stage, the things which are very difficult, it becomes very easy with the mercy of the Lord. Right. So the impersonal feature of the Supreme, that advancement is very troublesome. He is on his avyakta sakta chetasam. He is identifying that there are persons who are basically who are going to the avyakta state. Yes, Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, Paramatma feature is the manifested form or the unmanifested form, Prabhuji?
Unmanifested form. मतलब Paramatma is Mataji, and Paramatma feature is basically Shirodakshay Vishnu. This impersonal form is basically Mataji, the effulgence, the Brahma Jyotir effulgence we are talking. The Paramatma is Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So one who assumes, who sees him in the heart as the light, basically is the impersonal. But one who sees that, okay, he is Shirodakshaya Vishnu, he sees it as a personalist Mataji. There is a difference that how you perceive that knowledge, Mataji. One will be saying Paramatma again. The impersonalist says the Paramatma again and again. But don't confuse it with the Shirodakshay Vishnu. They are talking about the Brahma Jyotir effulgence Mataji. This confusion is always there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. So advancement is very difficult. To make progress in discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So Krishna himself is saying here that the impersonalists who are practicing it, that discipline, it is difficult. He himself is saying, right? He is himself is saying what, and he himself is saying to the Arjuna, right? So he is identifying it. Okay, he's acknowledged that this is troublesome, right? So we have to take the path of devotional dharma, right? So two groups of translators, what is their same goal? They both want to go to the Krishna conscious activity or engage in the devotional service. Right? Ultimately, Krishna has said that ultimately they will eventually come to me. Right? Or by far, eventually one will come to. Jnana yogis, those follow the path of inconceivable, unmanifest, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, they will also come to me. But it takes time. It is troublesome also. Not for this Kali Yuga. So in terms of practice, we differentiate. So meditate on the impersonalist, meditate on the formless. It's difficult for the embodied. We meditate on the deity. It is easy for us, right? Because there is 200 form whom we can worship, right? He is there. We can do archanam. We can do vandanam. We can sing the glories of the Lord. We can chant. We can listen from his devotees about the glories of the Lord, right? We can decorate him, right? We can decorate the worship him, we can multiple things we can do, right? Multiple things. Because once we are doing the satisfaction of the senses, satisfying the senses of the Lord, then our senses become satisfied, our senses become purified. Right? It easy, it is easy to purify the senses, our pure senses, and engage in the service of the Lord. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparitvenam nirmalam, right? That's a one when engages in the service of the Lord, two things takes place. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam, all the material designations goes away, right? One is freed from the material designation, and when the tatparitvenam nirmalam, when all the senses are in the rishikena rishikesha, rishikena rishikeka. So he says Silanam Bhakti Ruchate, right? That one who is engaged in the senses of, one is senses engaged in the Lord, one is trying to, then his senses are basically purified. And one is starting the bhakti. Bhakti is the definition of the bhakti comes that one is engaging his senses and in the service of the Lord and satisfying the senses of the Lord, right? That is the definition of the devotional service. So one will get free from the material designation, and one's senses will be purified. That is the definition of yoga. That is the definition of devotional service. Unmanifested. So impersonalism is basically unmanifested is beyond senses, restricts the senses. Senses can perceive the deity and sound of mantra. Right? In the personalist, we can perceive deity, we can see the sounds of the mantra, right? Engages the senses. Impersonalists understand the Brahman through Upanishads, right? Through language, Sanskrit, they understand the non-conceptual feelings. But personalists, they through devotion service. You are not understanding Krishna. Suppose we are reading and reading and reading, you will not get anything just by reading, right? Just by reading all the books, no, you will attain nothing. No, no devotional service will come. If no devotional service will come, you cannot understand Krishna, right? You cannot. Just by reading, reading the books, there were various students of the Srila Prabhupada also, always reading, but then downfall comes eventually, right? But if one is engaged in the service, suppose you are not understanding Gita, you go to temple, you do some menial service, you do some any service you get, that will become the transcendental service. By that, you will be able to understand what was written in the Gita. Realize that the Srila Prabhupada will talk to you then. So devotional service is simply chanting Hare Krishna. So one is not doing chanting, is doing only reading, nothing will happen. Chanting attentively is very necessary. Sorry. So, so basically, simply chanting. That is, we understand Krishna through devotional service, which is Sharanam, Kirtanam, simply chanting Hare Krishna, guidance of bona fide spiritual master. We should have a spiritual master simply by offering regulative obeisances, regulative obeisances unto the deity, hearing the glories of the Lord, eating the remnants of the foods offered to the Lord. These are all devotional service, part of the devotional service only. Because all our activity, because he's not saying to do not saying to do inaction. He is saying to do all the action, just dedicate all that action to me. Right? So how do we dedicate? We do it as a service to the Lord only. Already it will be dedicated to the Lord. Whatever part of our life we are doing, it is dedicated to the Lord. It will become devotional service, and you will understand Krishna. Right? We will able to understand Krishna. Same person is long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti. No bhakti, but for the person is it is natural, because ultimately if one has to do devotional service, then this is a natural, this is a fundamental position, being a part and parcel of the Lord, being a servitor of the eternal servitor of the Lord, that is just natural. So our senses are satisfied, all the things come in place. In personalized, it is troublesome. Krishna himself is saying personalized misery is mitigated by relationship with Krishna. Once one is having the one having in the rust with the Krishna, then all everything else seems superfluous. Everything else seems not to worry about that, because all the miseries, because everything is in the control of the Lord. Everything is by the will of the Lord. Right? Whatever Krishna likes, he will take. That is the attitude of basically bhakta. Impersonalism depends on our own endeavor, right? He is practicing by himself. He's saying, I have to do, right? But personalist, Krishna delivers devotee from Maya, right? Why? Because Krishna himself recommends the process, right? He himself is saying, Yoginam api sarvisham madgate nantaratma shraddhavan bhajetu yamam. He himself is saying that you bhaj me. How we have to do that? Anukulena Krishna, ana anna abhilashate shodyam, right? No abhilasha, no desire should be there. No, no jnana karmani anavritam. No fruitive activities, knowledge should be there. No monist philosophy should be there. Right? Anukulyana Krishna Anu, right? With that, Shilam Ram Bhakti Rucha Uttama, right? By that, that is the best part of it. Right? Always, constantly, we are serving the Lord. Whatever favorable is to the Lord, we are doing that. That is basically Krishna recommending. Out of paternal love, one is doing a by his causeless mercy, right? So one delivers from the Maya. How? Because we are doing the devotional service, always remembering him. Out of paternal love, out of by his causeless mercy, he will be delivered from the Maya. Because he himself is saying, Mama Maya Durataya, right? And he is saying, Mama Maya Durataya, right? Those who have surrendered unto me, but he can cross beyond the Maya. Daivi Isha Gunamai, Mama Maya Durataya. He is saying that Mami Vashishatamdi, right? He is one who surrenders, but one who has surrendered unto me, he can cross beyond. In terms of realization, the one, how does one realize the Brahman? He is Nirguna, because the Brahma Jyotir is the Bhagwan, Saguna, with form, qualities, right? Guna means not the three modes of material nature, but He has the form, he has the qualities, all that, right? Brahman is inconceivable. Bhagwan possesses inconceivable potencies. His potencies are inconceivable because he was present in the Dwarka at the single point of it, the single moment, with all the wives, with all the 16, 16,000 wives, all with all the palaces. He was present at a single time. So his potencies are inconceivable, right? His potencies are inconceivable, but he is the Sachidanand Swarupa. He has the form. He is not inconceivable, but his potencies, his energies are inconceivable. We cannot conceive that how he is present at the same time at the Goloka Vrindavan and at the Vrindavan at the earth. How he is present, right? That is inconceivable. All pervading. The Brahman is all pervading. The Bhagwan is all pervading by energy and super soul. Right? By through, because he is saying by my single fragment, his single fragment, he pervades everything. By his single fragment of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, he is present in every matter and every living entity. Every atom he is present. His Brahman is unchanging, fixed and immovable. Right? And Bhagwan is also unchanging, fixed and immovable. Fixed, why fixed? Because he doesn't, he's achyuta, he is not falling from his position. He's bhakta vatsala, right? Brahman cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity, right? And they cannot, what is the opulence of Brahman? When we say, no, it is just Brahma Jyotir effulgence. You just want to go there. No, nothing, no fulfillment reason. Okay, fine. But Bhagwan's definition is there. The six opulences is full, right? He's all love, he's all strong, he's all wealth, he has all renunciation, right? He's all wealth, right? He's all knowledge, right? All the six opulences are there. All the six opulences are there. Risk of not in the Brahman, risk of not realizing of absolute truth at the end, right? There is a risk that of one fall. But devotion service, success is guaranteed. If you have stopped some devotion service in this life, that you have achieved this much, what will happen? You will start from the next part. Right? Sri Prabhupada used to tell that, okay, you have done 1% devotion service, you will start from the 2%. Nothing to worry about it, right? You will start from there itself. Success is guaranteed. You need to reach 100%. You just start it at least. So the Brahman may realize the eternal, the Sat, because it is Sat, Chit, Anand. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, and only this part, not the Anand part. But in Bhagwan, realize eternal is Sat, Chit, and Anand. Bliss also is recognized. Bliss also is attained, realized. Includes Brahman and Paramatma realization. Both relations are there. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यासपत्परः अनन्यैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धार्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्. Translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pratha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
So now he's saying who worships me, right? So after the impersonalist, now he's revealing that who worships me, what happens, giving up all his activities onto me, right? All the activities he's recommended giving to me and being devoted to me without deviation. Ananya bhakti, without deviation, unalloyed devotion. He is asking for unalloyed devotion, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, was fixed his mind upon me. O son of Pratap, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of Mukti. Because we're in this ocean, right? We are in this ocean. We are like the boat who needs to basically be whatever we do, however best swimmer we are, but we are still will be in this ocean, right? So whatever however best swimmer the part of the whatever the best swimmer becomes, but we still will be in this ocean. We need someone who is not in this ocean, right? The high energy, the spiritual energy, the Sachidanand Swarup, the Shri Bhagavan himself, right? So in order to deliver us from the Maya, he should come, right? So he will come when what we do, we worship him. We give it up all the activity, give up all yad karoshi, yad ashnashi, yad joshi, dadashi, right? He says that whatever activity you do, you give up to me, right? Yad tapashishu konteya tat kurushvama tarpanam. You offer it to me, whatever you are eating, whatever you are offering, whatever charity you are giving away in the charity, whatever tapasya you are doing, whatever austerities you are performing, give away as an offering to me. It's already told, right? All the activities on to me, being devoted to me, right? Being become a bhakta without deviation, right? Without, always do devotional service, always meditate upon me, right? How? By the energies of the Lord. You can see his energies, right? Always fix your mind upon me. What will happen? He will become the swift deliverer, right? Not because this process is very easy. This process is very easy because it has all the engaging activities, because engagement of the soul is very necessary, all again and again. Why, Shilpari used to tell, not more than 7 hours one can, one should sleep, because more than that it just ignorance, right? So, because your soul is always engaged, you give some activities to engage. If your engagement is with the Lord, it converts to the devotion service. You will remember him always, right? So will Maya, Maya will not touch you. Then Lord will take care of your, of you, personally. He will take care, right? So he becomes the swift. That's why he's saying he is the swift deliverer, because it is not, troublesome also. So now the Lord, now the Lord will tell that, what kind of devotional service one can, from the highest of the devotion, from the lowest to the lowest, right? So, first part is the living with Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon him, right? One should, always think about Krishna, living within Krishna by, always his mind should be with Krishna, intelligence upon, and buddhi and mind, all both should be for the Krishna. This is the highest form of devotion, right? The highest, one can do this highest. You cannot do that. He then recommends that, okay, you cannot do sadhana bhakti. What is sadhana bhakti? Practicing regulative principles of bhakti yoga to increase one's desires, right? So that we come to the state of Krishna Prema, right? Because one is higher stage, one is always fixes his mind upon him. No thought is coming in his mind also, rather than, in the material part. Only he is thinking about the Krishna one. So that is continuously fixing. His intelligence is also recommended again and again to go to the Lord, right? That is the thought of the, highest devotion. But if one cannot do that, then the sadhana bhakti, regulative principles of bhakti yoga, one desire can be increased by that to approach the Lord, and to the ability to remember can be increased and obtain Krishna ultimately. If also, then he says that if you cannot do that, okay, then surrenders one's work to Krishna. Whatever you're doing, just surrender all the, Yat tat kurushvam adarpanam. Whatever you doing, to offer it to me. You can do that. Okay, you can do that. Whatever you're doing, whatever activities in the day to day you are doing, you are working, you give the money to the temple, or you give to the money to the devotional service. You give something for spiritual activity, for the upliftment of the society of the, in the spiritual part, to realize Krishna, in the Krishna conscious activity. You can do that. That becomes devotion service. Whatever you are doing. So surrenders one's work to Krishna. You are doing it for the Krishna. You are taking care of, taking care of the family, for Krishna, because they are also part and parcel of the Lord, right? And whatever, minimum, in a humble way one can take part, okay, one can do that. For the 11th part, one can do surrendering to Krishna, the results of one birth. If you cannot do that, then he recommends, okay, you go do the results, whatever result out coming out of it, you do that surrendering to that, to me. In the 12th part, then he says that, okay, you cannot do all that, no karma you can do, at least start cultivating some knowledge or meditation, right? At least start some gyan you take. What is Vigyan? What is Vigyan? That we are not the body we are. At least then this gyan at least one should have, right? This gyan at least come to this stage. So, various stages he has recommended. मय्यैव मनाधत्स्व मय्य बुद्धिं निवेशय एव शिष्यसि मय्यैव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः.
Hare Krishna. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, like similar to this, how the Gopas are there. Always, all are, seeing Krishna only. All are related to Krishna only. They are only there to serve Krishna, right? They have loving exchange with the Krishna. Always fixed upon mind upon him. The Supreme Person, Maya Eva Manadatsva, Mai Buddhim Niveshayama. Your mind, the Buddhim, always on me. Engage all your intelligence, buddhim, all intelligence in me. Buddhim, niveshaya. Nivesh, where one has to engage in buddhi, where my buddhi, right? Always in me, Supreme Person, Godhead. Thus, nevashishya mayeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. No doubt is there. Na samshaya. No doubt is there that you will always do. Right? So that is the topmost, right? The exclusively devotion service, one is for by thinking exclusive for Krishna. What happens? Benefits. Fix mind upon me. Engage all your intelligence in me. Right. The mind intelligence is fixed on him. And what is the benefit? Live in me always without him. Right? You are already with me then. Right? One is here in this material world, but still he is with the Krishna. अथा चित्तम समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो आम इच्छाप्तुं धनंजय. Translation.
Hare Krishna. My dear Arjun, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop a desire to attain to me. Hare Krishna.
He's saying, "O winner of that, you cannot do that. Then what you can do? At least fix your mind upon me without deviation. Right? Then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Right? Do sadhana bhakti. Right? You cannot do that. Then do the sadhana bhakti. This way you will develop. At least will come to the desires. Right? What we have started with the sadhana bhakti only. We are only trying to do the sadhana bhakti. We are trying to follow the regulative principles. We are trying to follow the do the shamanam kirtanam, all the all the sadhana bhakti we are trying to worshipping the deities of the Lord, right? Always we are doing the sadhana bhakti, right? At least by which what will happen, once uh, one devotee, the Srila Prabhupada, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he says that I always bow down to you, Srila Prabhupada, but I have no feeling, I have no love for you, I have no love for you, no gratitude for you. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, keep bowing, keep going down, you will eventually come to the understanding, right? Come to the understanding. So similarly, we are having the faith in a guru, because with the guru kripa only we will able to elevate our desires, right? No other way that is.
Prabhuji, sadhana bhakti is superior to Nishkam bhakti.
Yes, Mataji, sadhana bhakti. Because
Is superior
Mataji,
to
one
that.
is engaged in everything he has left. Suppose there is a brahmachari, Mataji. He is living in the temple. He is cleaning the temple. He is whatever he is doing. No, he is doing it for the Lord. You will go into the temple and you will say, no, one will saying that one is not engaging with other devotees, because one is basically there just for the service of the Lord. Everyone in the temple is about the service of the Lord. He has dedicated his life. That's why the first nama prad comes that one, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagation of Krishna consciousness, right? We say in the morning, right? Because the first thing is one who has dedicated his life, the sadhana bhakti is always above. Nishkam karma yoga matari is the karma yoga part. One is above the karma kanda part, and one is come to the karma. We have seen the yoga ladder. The karma yoga is there, then the jnana yoga is there, the dhyana yoga is there, ultimately the bhakti yoga is there. One has to come to the stage of, because one is attached to the Lord Mataji, and you will have no other desires, to serve anything else. You will be in the blissful state, and one will be basically only thinking about the Lord, because our eternal relationship is with the Lord only. We have learned Dehinusman yatha deyat komaram yovanam jara tata dehantara prapte, right? Again and again we are changing our body. Right? So relationships are changing, but our eternal relationship is only with Bhagavan. That is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So obviously, Mataji, this is above that, right, Mataji?
Right, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Then in an eight, so one cannot perform devotion service, then he is recommending, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, and you will develop a desire to attain me. Right? So those who have not developed attachment for Krishna, how to achieve the state of pure love? By practicing devotion service with present senses, right? With that which we are trying to do. How to follow regulations of devotion service? By guide under the guidance of Guru. So one must have a Guru. We have a Guru, Srila Prabhupada, we have a Guru. Right, so we are under the guidance through his books, through his disciples, through Namanishtaras Prabhuji, right? We are under the guidance of them, right? Through Srila Prabhupada only, right? Qualifications to practice, anyone can practice, right? What is the, because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, and then there was a discussion with the Ramananda Rai. He told that only the one who is totally engaged, who has left everything, can only come to the state of bhakti yoga, right? Then then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, "Oh, this is not correct," right? So then he said, okay, whatever one is doing, offering it to the Lord, that is correct. Ultimately comes to that, what in whatever state one is in, whatever state one is, whatever duty is doing, if he is, if he is, if he is a grasta, whatever business, he is a businessman, whatever he is, but he is doing as activity to the Lord, as a devotional service to the Lord, that is the highest practice of, that is the highest practice of devotional service. So anyone can practice, right? There is no qualification. Is the guarantee of success? Yes. There is surety of love of God. Prema bhakti is the surety that God gives. Right? अभ्यासेपे असमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्मा परमो भाव मददर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So at least you are not doing that. You can see in here. At least go to do some service in the temple. At least work for me. Directly. One is not doing. Okay, you give some money so that we can make some temple. Right. So you are not basically doing this regulative principle, not doing sadhana bhakti. Okay, you give some money. You give some thing. You give some. You distribute some books. Give some distribute some prasadam. Right. So you can one can do that, at least working for me, working for the Krishna consciousness, that can be done, right? That is also, that is, then you will come to the perfect stage, right? Because you will get credits, right? Because if someone is, someone is, suppose you want someone to engage in the Krishna consciousness, then he is adamant that he will not come. Do one thing, you engage in some this this with this shloka, you can, this is the benefit of this shloka, that you just engage and bring some flowers, please bring some flowers, okay, please bring some prasadam from outside, or from make some prasadam, or some laddu, something one can bring, some flowers one can bring, some part of it, because one will get the credit out of it. If one gets the credit of that devotion service, the mercy comes. When the mercy comes, then one reaches the stage of perfect stage, right? So that is how the mercy of the Lord acts. Some activity you give them, they will eventually realize the the bhakti yoga part, and eventually one will come. One, with this shloka one can, test, you can test it. To perform in the eighth part, the perform devotion service, you cannot do that, and then follow regular do sadhana bhakti, you cannot do that. Okay, at least work for Krishna. Whatever work is in Krishna consciousness movement is there, you work for it, right? So how to perform for Krishna based on 11.55, sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness movement, right? What we can do, and we will become sympathetic to that, right? The one is, at least every endeavor needs land, capital, organization, labor, like any other business, right? Similarly, we also work, we are grasta, so we can give some amount, give some amount to the temples of ISKCON for propagating Krishna consciousness, some capital, some donation, whatever we, if you don't have money, if you have some influence, if you have some influence, you get some influence to to work for the Lord. There is this the owner of the fort, right? He was told by Prabhupada that become, will not become famous as the material world, but become famous as a devotee of the Lord, as a devotee of the Lord. So he is very famous. He has donated around 500 crores to build this on Mayapur EOVP temple. Can help build a temple, help in publication, etc. If one cannot sacrifice results of his activities, at least sacrifice some percentage of his results, right? Some percentage. अतएद अपि असक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगम् आश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं तथा कुरु यतात्मवान्. हरे कृष्ण. हरे कृष्ण. अनन्या माता जी, पूर्वा माता जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण.
If, however, you are unable to walk in this consciousness, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now he's saying, okay, you are not working for me, not working for me in this consciousness. You don't have Krishna consciousness. Okay, fine. Then it's also okay. You try to get, try to act, giving up all results of your work. Okay, this is fine. You are not worshiping Krishna, right? So at least one can come up to this level, right? Whatever the work you are doing, just do that nishkam karma. Nishkam karma. Results of your work should not be, for yourself, right? Try to be self-situated. try to learn about yourself, that yet you are not this body, you are the soul. So there is no requirement, only whatever the body needs, whatever the humble body needs, it should be there. And whatever consciousness one has, but just the results of your work is not belongs to you. And understand this. The self-situated means, he's saying that let one basically one basically uh, one is karta ham iti manyate, right? One is basically assuming that ahankara vimodatma karta ham iti manyate. One is assuming that he's in the false ego, that he is the doer, but actually who has done the three modes of material nature. The three modes of material nature has done all the activity, but he is assuming that he has done ahankara vimudatma. Vimudatma means one is not aware of his, one is not aware of his body, he is not aware of his soul. He is assuming that he is the body, and he is assumed that he is the doer. Rather, who has done it? Well, it has been done by the three modes of material. Right? So this understanding one must hire, and then he should give up the result. So he is saying that one cannot do perform devotional service, then do sadhana bhakti, then cannot do that, work for Krishna, cannot do that, then give up the results of their work and self-situate. So reasons why one may be unable to sympathize for Krishna consciousness acts can be social, familiar, because not everyone will come to the Krishna consciousness state, right? The Krishna consciousness state, because there will be social obligation, there will be social hindrance, some family will hindrance, religious considerations, or any other hindrance, right? So hence, he's giving up the results of the work. At least one can do the recommendation, sacrifice the accumulated results to some good cause, right? Whatever cause, how that helps, one may gradually elevate to the stage of knowledge. Because what will happen, no? Because he will think about others, not himself. That is a state, because he will please others. Everyone else he will be pleasing, not because the state will be of not satisfying his senses, he will satisfying other senses. So that bhav of serving others will come into it. So this is higher bhav. This is godly qualities, right? Practical example like social service, some NGOs there, some community service, some national services there. Examples, charity to hospitals, social institutions, sacrifices of art and results, and purify the mind, and one can gradually understand. This is actual example that Krishna is like that. He's giving many examples. You cannot do that. He is so merciful that you cannot do that. You can at least come to the shloka of 12.11.
Guruji, should I speak?
Hare Krishna.
Sir, Guruji, should I speak?
Just a minute. I am just, I just recite the shloka. You want to recite?
No, sir. Guruji, you continue.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम अभ्यासाच ज्ञानात् ध्यानम विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्म फल त्यागास् त्यागा चान्त्यनन्तरम. Yes, Mataji, you can now recite the translation.
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is the renunciation of fruits of action. For such a renunciation, one can attain a peace of mind.
Right. So now the last thing, last thing, if you cannot practice this, you cannot do any kind of karma, right? Then engage what at least gain some knowledge, right? Someone is at the later stage of his life, is not able to do some karma, and or not able to do any kind of charity also, not able to do something, is not, some energy is not left. But what one can do, at least cultivation of knowledge, right? Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. At least if you can, but Krishna is saying that what is better than that? Do some meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, right? He's going above, right? Also, by such renunciation, or one can attain the peace of mind. So ultimately, one is not living the energy, but one is, at least want to attain the peace of mind, right? Right? How one it is, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalokam Aishwaram, right? So one who knows this, 5.29 shloka, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalokam Aishwaram. Suhadam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Rachati. So one has come to the understanding with this knowledge. If one doesn't have the peace formula, the knowledge is the peace formula. One is having the peace form, that Bhokta Ram Yajna Tapasan. He is the Bhokta, is the enjoyer, right? Sarva Loka Maheshwaran. He is the Maheshwar, right? He is the owner, he is the proprietor of all the demigods and the godhead, all the living entities. Sodam, he is the well-wisher. Sodam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the benefactor and the well-wisher. One who knows these three things, then he will attain peace. So this is the knowledge one needs to have, right? At least, so when he's saying that you cannot do anything, and at least have this knowledge, by which you can at least, but better than that, but will be some meditation you can do. Better than that, renouncing the fruits of action. So at least last two slokas doesn't, belongs to the, one is not into the Krishna consciousness also. Still, these all two, last two one can do, and ultimately reach to the Krishna consciousness.
Prabhuji, meditation here is Ashtang Yoga.
Yes, Mataji.
So knowledge, Ashtang Yoga, and then Nishkam Karma
Yes,
Yoga.
yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Gyan Yoga is there, Mataji, cultivation knowledge by mental speculation. Then better than that is some Dhyan Yoga, right? Some Dhyan Yoga, then he's saying that, Nishkam, right? He's saying that you can do, at least you can come to that stage, right? Cultivation of knowledge, meditation, renunciation of fruits. He's saying that you can do that. So two kinds of devotion service are there: way of regulative principles, and way full of attachment and love full of God. Right. So there is basically sadhana bhakti, and then there is raganuga bhakti, right? The spontaneous love of the Lord. The gopis and the God, spontaneous love for the God. The Brijvasis, the Brijvasis always changing their plans as per the will of the will of the Lord. Whatever the plan Lord does, then their plan also change. That is the Ras Leela, right? Whatever the plan of the Brajvasi, whatever the plan is of the Lord, their plan is always according to that only, right? Always as per the plan of the Lord. So that is, it is basically the Leela with the Lord. So two more kinds, sadhana bhaktis and raguna. To follow the from the eighth, fix mind on Krishna, or do sadhana bhakti, or work for Krishna, or give up the results, or you cannot do that, then do some cultivation of results. No better than that is the result of the knowledge, understanding its real position, that is not the body, is the soul. If one cannot do that, and develop some knowledge, to develop some meditation, one can do some dhyan yoga, shtang yoga, one can do. Gradually, one will come to the understanding the supreme, that you got it, right? One cannot do that, at least renounce the fruits better than meditation, right? At least renouncing the fruits, right? So he has given all the options, right? So although karma yoga is the lowest on the yoga ladder, Krishna says that it is better than meditation, right? Krishna says that it is better because he is not recommending any kind of an action. Don't become a parasite in the society. In the Kali Yuga, at least we will leave everything, then we become, some instability we will inculcate in the social work order, right? So because so he's saying that it is better than meditation because it is more practical and it does not disturb the mind with harsh and impractical requirements for realization, right? Because it is troublesome, right? Various progresses we have seen. The topmost stage is the fixing mind on Krishna and following regulative principle. The result is developed desire to attain Krishna. Work for Krishna will become to the stage of devotional service. Not either do that, then renunciation, cultivation, knowledge. Krishna, what will the result? Purification, peace, and gradual elevation. Because at least everyone wants some peace, some purification, some gradual elevation, right? So at least want this. Come to the last part where Krishna will tell that which is more dearer to him. Right? So he says, one who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities. Right? So if we are envious, then we are not dear to Krishna. Right? So we need to contemplate all this. What pleases Krishna, right? So he is now telling. So who does not think of himself a proprietor, right? He is not the proprietor. Who thinks like that, and he is a dear to Krishna and free from false ego. What is false ego? That I am this body. That is false ego, who's equal in both happiness and distress. And he's quiet, he's calm, he's equipoised, who's tolerant, who always satisfied, who is self-controlled and engaged in devotional service with determination. Radha, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Right? So we need to think about that who is dear to him. Right? We need to become the favorite of him. We need to become dear to him at least, right? So this all quality we need to think about. This all quality we need to contemplate on. Are we envious of anyone? Any living entity, any we your enemy. If we are envious of him, then we are not dear to him. Every is a kind friend to everyone. The enemy also, one should be simplicity should be there, should not be the proprietor, because he is the proprietor, right? One should free from false ego, have some knowledge, be equipoise, we try to become equipoise in both happiness and distress, become tolerant, right? Become satisfied always. That's why we are very engaged. Sadhu sangha is very necessary, because if you are not interacting with the sadhus, you are not interacting with the sadhus, you are not being tolerant with the sadhus, doing the sadhu sangha, then how will we tolerant to other living entities? So sadhu sangha is also very necessary. Engagement with the world is necessary, but we just do need to think that we do not take their engagement, we do not take sangha of theirs. Rather, we gave them our engagement. Whatever engagement is there, whatever sangha is there, that we always say the glories of the Lord. Right? Always speak of the glories of the Lord. That is our sangha. Right? That should be our attitude. We should be self-controlled, engage in devotion service. Right? Whatever devotion service we get, whatever little service we get, you just take it, and you be do do it sincerely. That's all. Krishna says, his mind intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee mind is very dear to me. So all the qualities he has in who is dear to him, right? He says, Adveshta, consider all reactions as the result of one's past misdeeds. Tatte Anukampa takes distress as the Lord's mercy. I deserve much more, right? The Adveshta means that this is, Krishna takes all the suffering, right? Takes all suffering, and Krishna's kindness to avoid reaction, right? So he basically thinks, the devotee basically thinks that whatever it is coming, it is, he deserves just much more. Rather, it is coming very less to him. So non-envious, kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Because and whatever enemy is giving, he is giving very less, because Krishna is with you. The attitude of the devotee is like that. Whatever the enemy is giving, he is giving very less. It is Lord's mercy. One deserves much more. He is santushta. He is satisfied. Whatever comes by Lord's grace does not over endeavor to achieve something. Right? No over endeavor is there, because everything belongs to the Lord. What will one will have? What will one will gain? Right? Nirmamu, no sense of proprietorship. Devotee does not attach much importance to the pains and troubles of the body, free from false ego, equipoised in happiness and distress. Tada nishchaya, determination, right? With determination, one should know. Tolerant, never disturbed by any circumstances. Yat self-controlled, completely perfect mystic, because completely fixed in instructions of spiritual master. Whatever spiritual master is saying, he does that, right? Tat. Mai arpita manu buddhi. He says, Mai arpita manu buddhi. Always, he is dear to me. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it comes Tattenukampam su samikshmanu Punjana ivatma kartamipakam Hadava Purvi Vidadhan Namaste Jiveta Yumukti Padesa Daya Bhag. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Right? So one is in is this attitude. The Bhagavatam is himself is saying that one who is in attitude that whatever suffering it is coming, it is because of his own, because of his past misdeeds, right? No, not because of the will of the Lord, right? His it is becomes his rightful. He is respectfully obeisances with his heart, words, body, with your body, with your karma, with your vani, with your mind, the heart, words, body, one is serving to the Lord. What will become? It is surely achievable. That's why this three, when diksha comes, then there's three round of Tutsimala is there. One is serving basically with the Lord, with his body, words, and heart. Yes, for that, what will out of the result out of it will be there? Surely eligible for the liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. With this shloka, right? This is the evidence of that. What is the thought process? He thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him, whatever suffering it is coming. He thinks that thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far, far greater than I am suffering now. That is the attitude. Lord's mercy, I am not getting all the punishment I am due, just getting a little. So this is the attitude. So no worry will be there, no misery will be there, because one is in the attitude that it is very less. He thinks this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past misdeeds. So it is better to suffer than to protest. Instrument of my karma, become instrument. Right? Whatever enemy you have, it is just the instrument of our karmas only. Right? What is the result of thinking this way? One is always calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. Right? Nor he is envious of anyone or disturbed by their behavior or become his enemy's enemy. Right? He doesn't, endeavor for further engagement with that. He becomes eligible for liberation. Right? Because he is having all the whatever the karma prarabdha is there, he is taking it there. यश्मान्नोद्विजते लोको लोकान्नोद्विजते च या हर्षामर्षा भयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यसा मे प्रियः. Translation.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
He
Krishna.
for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anxiety, who study in happiness and distress is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Now again, who's now one who is not put into difficulty, right? For whom when no one is put into difficulty, no difficulty one is giving, right? Who is not disturbed, one who is not disturbed by anxiety, no one, you are not going anxiety to anyone, who is steady in happiness and distress. Right here too. Again and again, in the shloka he is saying, never cause a distress to others, not get affected. Right? Like the Prahlad Maharaj, everyone is coming to attack him, right? But he is not reacting to it. He is not retaliating to it, right? So this is Prahlad Maharaj, right? So the liberation becomes is rightfully. Because devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness, material circumstances cannot move him, not disturbed by anything. Because he thinks that it is the will of the Lord, right? He is the proprietor. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He is the Vasudevam, right? Such a state is obtained by Lord's grace. By the Lord's mercy, we can attain this state. If you think that we will attain by our endeavors, we'll think some contemplate on it. No, it will not happen. It is attaining by Lord's mercy. Does not affect others, right? No one. He does not even affect himself. Not in the inside also. Not he is getting affected. Not the outside also he is not affecting anyone. No one is put into difficult anxiety, difficulty, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee because he is kind to everyone because he knows Vasudeva Sarvamiti because he knows that everywhere is Krishna. Samadarshana Pandita, right? He everywhere, no, Paramatma is everywhere the Vishnu is there. अनपेक्ष सुचेदक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्ता समय प्रिय. हे कृष्ण. कृष्ण नमो माता जी. नमो माता जी. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
कृष्ण.
A devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
So now here the picture of who is given. Sudama is given, right? Who is the ordinary course of activity. He doesn't care that his friend is who is his friend? Shri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality Godhead himself is the friend of Sudama. But he is not who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activity. That he has no food to eat and no worries is there. He is pure, he is expert, he is without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result. He is very dear to me. No result he is expecting of anything. He is friend to the Supreme Personality Godhead, but he is not expecting anything. Ananya Bhakti is there. Ananya Bhakti is there. Right? This is the quality of the devotee. That is priya to them. नो न हर्ष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न कांक्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान यः स मे प्रियः. हरे कृष्ण. Translation.
Hare Krishna. One who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Now he's saying, so no, na sochati, na kankshati, na harshati, na dveshti. Na harshati, neither grabs pleasure, nor na dveshti. Na sochati, neither laments, na kankshati, nor desires. No desires, no lamenting is there. Renouncing all the auspicious and auspicious things. He doesn't care about all the various auspicious yagna one has to do. Nothing he is caring. So he is very dear to me. He says, right? So he is in a blissful state. Prahlad Maharaj, right? Nothing he is doing. The elephant is coming to kill him. Nothing he is doing. Various. Just a second. So he's saying na sochati na kankshati, right? Na sochati kankshati, no, nor he renounces all the auspicious, inauspicious, just like the Prahlad Maharaj, right? The elephant is coming to kill the various asuras are coming, the Danavs, his own family is coming to kill him, but he is not having any kind of, any kind of lamenting, no desires is there to protect the, he's just engaged in Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, only remembering the Lord, only doing Vishnu Smaranam, right? Saying that neither rejoices nor grieves over material gain loss, neither laments nor desires, not anxious to get a son or a disciple, right? Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadiksha kame, mama janmani janma ishware avatad bhakti rahitu kitmai. Always wanting the eternal, eternal bhakti of the Lord, eternal, no wealth, no sundarim, no disciples, nothing he is wanting. The transcendental in face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful acts. Right? Be prepared to accept all kinds of risks for Lord's satisfaction. Right? The Srila Prabhupada, right? All kinds of risks he took. At the age of 69, he is going to the America in the cargo where he can easily die. The various all the people, all the owner of the Jaladuta ship company also told him that you will die in because it is very difficult at the age of 69. He is taking all kinds of risks just by with the mercy of the order of the Guru is there. So in propagating the Krishna consciousness, he is having all faith in the Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of the devotional service. Right? No impediment will come. Nothing is an impediment. Always worship the Lord. Bhaktiman devotee, the most essential quality from which all other qualities are. Bhaktiman and devotee quality. तमसत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मनापनेयोः चित्तोष्णात् सुखदुःखेषु समसंगा विवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दा स्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेता स्थिरामते भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः. One who is equal to friends and enemies, right? He is sama satrau cha mitre cha. Satrau, enemies, mitre, friend, equal to enemies, and sama service. Satrau cha mitre cha. Who is equipoised, tatha manapana yoha. Who is equipoised in honor and dishonor. Sitoshna sukha dukkeshu. Sitoshna and sukha and dukkeshu, right? Who is heat, cold, happiness and distress. You know? Sama sangha vivarjate. Fame of infamy, who is always free from contamination. Tulya Ninda Sutirmoni. Ninda, always silent and dissatisfied with anything. Who doesn't care for any residence. Santushto Yena Kena Chit. Always satisfied. Satisfied with anything. Santushto Yena Kena Chit. Aniketa Sthira Mater. Who doesn't care for any residence. Who is fixed in knowledge and engaged in devotional service is very dear. Right? Bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Which naraha is priyo to Krishna? That who is always, no, he is a friend who is equal to friend and enemy, who is equipoised in honor, dishonor, he is heat and cold, happiness, distress, fame, infamy, always free from contamination, silent and always silent and satisfied with anything. Always anything he is one is satisfied. One is very humble who doesn't care for any residence, right? Who is fixed in knowledge, engaged devotionally, he is dear to. He is caring for nothing, right? He is caring for nothing, just engaged in devotional service, unaffected by material emotions. The Durvasha Muni was there, and Maharaj Amrisha always engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord. The Sama Satra Chamitricha, equal to friends and enemies, Manapayanahu, equipoised in duality, Sangha Vivarchita, always free from contaminating association. One who's Aniketa, does not care for any accidents. Mauni, silence, implies to speak only of essentials, most essential speech, to speak of Supreme Lord. But whenever one is saying, Srila Prabhupada always chanting, either writing books or discussing about the Lord's glory. Santushto yena kenachit. Satisfied, happy in all conditions. Sometimes get palatable food and sometimes not. He is santusht, right? One is santusht. Tiramatir, fixed in determination and knowledge. His buddhi, matir is fixed in, sthira is fixed in determination, knowledge. Bhaktiman, always engaged in devotion. Krishna conscious and good qualification. What is good qualification? One who wants to be recognized as devotee should develop all good qualifications. Right? These are the good qualifications. And of course, one does not externally endeavor to acquire these qualifications because an engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotion service automatically helps one develop them. Externally, not to do that. Because one is doing the activities related to Krishna consciousness, then automatically these qualities will come. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification, right? Because one is not engaged in the devotion. Right? The qualities which are endeared to Krishna is tathastha lakshanam, ancillary. Yeah? Tathastha, ancillary qualities, and there is swarupa lakshanam, the primary, then primary qualities, essential qualities, right? Ancillary essential. So Swarupa Lakshanam is Bhaktiman, the most essential quality from which all other qualities. The Tataksha Lakshanam means ancillary, right? So what are those? Attitude towards oneself, right? Nirmama, free from sense of proprietorship, free from false ego, knows that I am not the body. Katavyata, pain free, Sarvaramba, Parityagi, free from all endeavors. These are secondary qualities, right? Non-envious kind, non-envious and kind to everyone, even to his enemies, dealing with other living entities. How his attitude is? Non-envious. He is equal to friends and enemies. Udasina, without cares, always free from contaminating association, and silence is there. And or what are more reactions when things happen to him? What are reactions? Satisfied, tolerant, daksh, expert, right? He's controlled completely. He's perfectness. He's equipoised in happiness, distress. He's unapeksha, neutral. Suchi, he's pure. Neither rejoices nor grieves over material gain or loss. Neither laments nor desires. Transcendental in face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful acts. Right? Always transcendental. Equipoised in dualities. Dealing with the Lord, how he deals with the Lord, he is always determined, mind, intelligence fixed entirely on the Supreme Lord, engaged in devotional service and fixed. And these are tatastha ancillary qualities. Essential is bhaktiman, become the devotee of the Lord, the most essential quality from which all other. Because one is not doing, one is not becoming Krishna conscious, one is not achieving, trying to become the devotee of the Lord, then one will not have these ancillary qualities. Become the devotee of the Lord, rest all ancillary qualities will follow. Hetu dharmamratam idam yathoktam parupashate shraddhadanam paramam bhaktaste tiva me priya. Hare Krishna. Anyone?
Hare Krishna. He who follows this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The final shloka comes. He says the follows is imperishable. This path, one who follows Krishna service and who completely engages himself with faith, like Bilamangala Thakur. Since his senses, his eyes was again and again, he left, he left everything, he was attached to this prostitute who told her that, you have crossed this river, so pain you have taken just to meet this body only, just to sense gratify your senses with this body only. But if you could have done this devotion service with the Lord, then you have achieved the Lord, right? So he left everything, and ultimately when still he was not able to control his lust. He plucked out his, he basically damaged his eyes so that he can only remember the Lord, so that his senses cannot, become an impediment in achieving the Krishna prema. He follows this, who follows this imperishable, it is imperishable path, right, of devotion service, and who completely engages himself with faith. With faith one has to engage, making him the supreme goal. That Krishna prema is only my supreme goal. That's why we are doing sadhana, regulative principle sadhana bhakti, and at the end of the Nama Prada, we says that our goal is achieve the Krishna prema. So that again and again in the morning time, in the Brahma Mutra, when you listen to this, that you have your aim is Krishna prema, your aim is Krishna prema, then only the faith, the desire to achieve the Lord, the desire to achieve the Krishna prema and do devotional service, the Lord directly will come, right? It will become very dear to Krishna. Right? So this is the path. No, this is the path one should follow. What path? Devotional service. Right? So they follow this simple path given by Srila Prabhupada, makes Krishna as the supreme goal of their life and completely engages themselves with faith. Right? So one will achieve the Shams, and when we achieve the service to the Shams in the roop of Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. And here 12th chapter. We'll start from the 13th chapter. Sorry for taking a long class of half an hour more. It is a short. Azar. Hare Krishna. Any doubt on today's class? Hare Krishna. Any doubt on today's class? Ask in the chat box also. We'll meet tomorrow. Panchakalpatarubhasya
Prabhuji,
Sarvevachan. Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
sorry, I
Yes,
interrupted you.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Bilwa Mandal Thakur, he damaged his eyes, his senses, but his eyes could have been used to
Yes, Matari,
implement.
but Matari, he was not able to control because and whatever impeding, Anukula is a sankalpa, Pratikula is vivajanam. Pratikula is vivajanam means that we surrender to the Lord in the sixth process, in the six steps. The second part is the particular vivajanam. Whatever impediment has one in his life, he let it go away. Right? He lets it go away so that it does not becomes whatever, suppose one is having a friend who is does the intoxication and all, you need to leave him because it is not good for him, because that sangha will not be good for him, that, and that mentality, that consciousness will not be good for him. Then he needs to let him go. That is the way particular Suvarjam. So his eyes was coming in between his sadhana bhakti. Again and again, when he used to see any woman, then the lust used to arouse. He didn't want even the thought of it to come because he always wanted to. So he keeps on chanting. He used to beautifully sing the glories of the Lord, and Krishna used to sit beside him and listen to the bhajanas of the Lord, bhajans of the Lord. That's something. It's not so easy, Mataji. Then how we say that, we say very clearly that, okay, control your mind, abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyena, right? You can realize, Mataji, need to control. You have seen the qualities what Krishna is saying. Huh? That qualities itself are divine. Right? We need to keep doing our sadhana. But this is, this all is happening with the Prabhupada's mercy, Mataji. The Guru's mercy is there. That's why whatever, that's why we need to trust on the Lord. The trust of Shraddha should be there in his words and Prabhupada. Then only we will achieve. Suppose someone is going to the school, someone is taking the lesson of science class, and he has no faith what teacher is saying. He's always, always teaches that, okay, the teacher is saying there is gravity. I don't think what he will gain in the what he will write in the exam. I think he can write. No faith is there, what he will learn because he is not convinced with that. Na? No Shraddha is there, no convinced with that. So what he will what exam will is very necessary. Whatever the material life also, if the person you are whom you are taking the lessons from, you are not trusting him, one is in a very big trouble, even in the material world also.
Very true, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, we will end here then. Panchakalpada Kasangu Vaishnavi Nantukoti Vaishnavi. Thank you everyone.